We all carry emotional wounds. Some are obvious, like childhood traumas, painful rejections, or devastating losses. Others are subtle, hidden beneath the surface of our consciousness, silently shaping our fears, insecurities, and behavioral patterns. But why do some wounds never seem to heal? Why do certain triggers make us relive emotions as if they had just happened? Carl Jung offers us a key to this question through the theory of the shadow. According to him, we all have hidden aspects within our psyche, repressed impulses, denied personality traits, pains we don't want to face. The more we reject these aspects, the more powerful they become. It's like a wound we try to ignore, but that keeps festering. Emotional wounds don't heal just because time passes. Time alone heals nothing. It only gives us space to deal with, or avoid, our pain. And, more often than not, we choose to avoid it. We bury feelings in the unconscious, convincing ourselves that we've moved on when, in reality, we've only pushed them into the shadows. But the shadow never disappears. It simply manifests in other ways. Outbursts of anger, destructive relationships, chronic insecurity, procrastination, fear of intimacy. Jung believed that the only way to truly heal our wounds was by bringing the shadow into the light of consciousness. This means confronting what we've avoided for so long. It means looking within and asking, what aspects of myself do I deny? What pains have I pretended to forget? What patterns do I keep repeating without realizing it? The problem is, this process isn't comfortable. The human mind is wired to avoid pain. When something hurts us, our natural tendency is to run, distract ourselves, deny it. We create narratives to justify our behavior. That's just how I am. This doesn't affect me anymore. It's not worth digging up the past. But as long as we don't face our shadows, we remain prisoners to them. The good news is, there is a path to healing. And that path begins with one essential step, the courage to look within. But how do we do that? How do we access what is hidden? And more importantly, how do we transform these wounds into strength? Facing our emotional wounds requires more than just acknowledging their existence. It's an active, deep, and often uncomfortable process. However, it is the only path to true transformation. As Jung teaches us, what you resist persists. In other words, the more we avoid our pain, the more it becomes a part of us, controlling us from the shadows. The first step to healing an emotional wound is to truly identify it. This means looking inward without filters, without the masks we use to convince ourselves and others that we're fine. Ask yourself, what repeatedly causes me pain? What destructive patterns keep appearing in my life? What feelings do I try to avoid at all costs? These questions help map out our shadow. If you find yourself constantly attracting relationships that end in abandonment, there may be an old wound of rejection that was never healed. If you overreact with anger to small criticisms, there may be a deep fear of not being enough. If you repeatedly sabotage yourself in the face of opportunities, there may be an unconscious belief that you don't deserve success. The next step is allowing yourself to feel the pain. This might seem counterintuitive. After all, we spend our lives trying to escape it. But it is precisely by allowing pain to surface that we can understand and process it. Many people confuse this step with ongoing suffering, but there is a fundamental difference. Suffering means remaining trapped in pain, while feeling means allowing it to express itself so that it can be released. Jung described this process as individuation, the journey of integrating all parts of ourselves, including those we prefer to hide. When we recognize our shadow, it loses its power over us. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. What once seemed threatening is revealed as simply another part of who we are. But identifying and feeling pain is not enough. The real power of healing lies in transforming the wound into strength. To do this, we must reframe our experiences. This means looking at the past not as a prison, but as a teacher. Ask yourself, what has this experience taught me? How can I use this pain to grow? In what ways can this wound make me stronger wiser, and more self-aware. Many people who have gone through deep trauma find purpose in helping others facing similar pain. By integrating our shadow, we not only heal ourselves, but also become agents of transformation for the world. However, this process doesn't happen in isolation. The right support, whether through therapy, self-awareness practices like meditation, therapeutic writing, or honest conversations with trusted people, can be essential. But there is one last step, perhaps the hardest of all: forgiveness, both of ourselves and others. Without forgiveness, the wound may close on the surface, but it will remain infected beneath. In the next section, we'll explore the power of forgiveness and how it may be the final key to fully healing emotional wounds. If there is one major obstacle that keeps many people from healing their emotional wounds, it is the lack of forgiveness. Forgiving does not mean forgetting, justifying, or minimizing what happened. It means freeing yourself from the weight of pain, releasing the chains that keep you tied to the past. As Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." But forgiveness is not an instant act. Often, it is a long and complex process that requires conscious effort. And contrary to what many believe, the hardest forgiveness is not the one we offer to others. It is the one we grant ourselves. We carry guilt for our mistakes, regrets, and past choices. Many times, we are harsher on ourselves than we would ever be on anyone else. Our inner critic tells us, "If I had done things differently, this wouldn't have happened. I ruined everything and I'll never fix it. I don't deserve happiness after what I've done." But what is the purpose of this constant guilt? No past pain can be undone. What can be changed is the meaning we give to it. If you keep punishing yourself, you keep reinforcing the wound. True forgiveness begins when you accept that you made mistakes, learn from them, and choose to move forward with greater wisdom. A powerful practice for self-forgiveness is self-compassion. Instead of asking, "Why did I do that?" ask yourself, "What did I need at that moment that I couldn't find?" More often than not, our wrong choices stem from a place of pain, fear, or ignorance. When we recognize this, we can treat ourselves with more kindness and begin the healing process. Forgiving those who hurt us may seem impossible, especially when the wound runs deep. But it's important to understand that forgiveness is not a gift to the person who hurt us. It is a gift to ourselves. When we hold on to resentment, we maintain an energetic bond with our pain. We stay trapped in the past, reliving negative emotions as if the wound were always fresh. This doesn't mean we should allow people to hurt us again. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. You can forgive someone without keeping them in your life. True forgiveness is internal. It is releasing anger so it no longer eats away at you. An important realization in this process is understanding that many times those who hurt us were also wounded themselves. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. This doesn't excuse the pain they caused, but it can help us see beyond hatred and release the emotional burden. In the end, emotional wounds don't heal simply because we want them to. They heal when we choose to face them, feel them, integrate them, forgive, and transform pain into growth. When you stop running from your shadow and start illuminating it, you realize that within it lie hidden treasures, resilience, growth, strength, and wisdom. The wound that once seemed insurmountable can become the greatest turning point of your life. So now I ask you, are you ready to stop running and finally set yourself free? The journey to emotional healing is not a final destination, but a continuous process. Our wounds are part of who we are, but they don't have to define our future. As Carl Jung teaches us, he who looks outside dreams, but he who looks inside awakens. Awakening happens the moment we stop running from pain and start using it as a tool for transformation. The shadow, when integrated, ceases to be a hidden enemy and becomes a guide to self-awareness. Healing an emotional wound doesn't mean erasing the past. It means reframing it. It means taking ownership of your story and finding not just suffering, but also growth within it. What was once fear can become courage. What was once anger can become compassion. What was once pain can become wisdom. The only thing preventing this transformation is the resistance to looking inward. But now you know that avoiding the shadow only makes it stronger. What can you do today, right now, to start illuminating what is still hidden? The first step can be small, reflecting on your patterns, writing about your pain, seeking help, practicing forgiveness. But any movement toward awareness is already an act of healing. In the end, the essential question is, do you want to remain a prisoner of pain, or are you ready to transform it? The choice is always yours. If this content resonated with you, if any part of this reflection connected with your journey, leave a comment below. Share your experiences, your questions, or whatever moved you. Let's create a space for dialogue and growth together. And if you want to keep exploring topics like this, self-awareness, deep psychology, and personal transformation, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Your healing journey starts with a single step, and who knows, maybe this video was that first step. Let's walk this path together.